Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to dig into a really radical idea. It's called ENTIFY, and it all boils down to one simple but honestly pretty profound question. What if you, not some big corporation, not a government, were the one and only author of your digital identity? So let's dive in and see what that actually looks like.
And this really gets to the heart of a problem a lot of us feel, right? I mean, we live in a world where it feels like our identity is owned by pretty much everyone except us. You've got governments pushing for mandatory digital IDs. You've got corporations tracking literally every single click. The whole system, it's built on someone else being in control. So that brings us to the core issue here, the digital identity problem. And really, you can think of it as a battle for ownership. I mean, who gets to have the final say over your name, your data, your very existence online? That's the big question ENTIFY is trying to answer. Okay, so this slide just lays it out perfectly. It's a tale of two worlds, right? On one side, you have the status quo, state and corporate control. Think mandatory digital IDs, constant data harvesting. It's like we're just cogs in their machine. But then on the other side, you have ENTIFY's promise. And it's a total flip of the script. We're talking a self-issued identity, a private cryptographic vault, a sovereign operating system. It's a huge shift from being just a user in somebody else's system to becoming the actual owner of your own.
All right, so what is ENTIFY really? Let's get into the specifics of how it plans to take this big idea of sovereignty and make it something real, something you can actually use.
Well, the name itself kind of gives away the whole mission, doesn't it? To entify is the act of creating an entity, and that entity is you. You as a sovereign, cryptographically secured living being. It's all about using some pretty powerful tech, cryptography, to basically carve out a piece of the digital world, where you and only you are the authority. You get to define who you are from the ground up.
And something the creators are super clear on is what this isn't. You know, it's not just another service you sign up for. It's not a platform like Facebook or Google. It's not another tech product you buy off the shelf. By saying all this, they're trying to tell us that we need to think about this differently. It's something much more fundamental, something that doesn't really fit into our usual boxes for tech. And yeah, the vision here is, well, it's huge. They're calling it a new human foundation, a new digital beginning. I mean, that's not small talk. We're talking about a complete reset button for how we even exist online. Now, this is where it gets really, really interesting. For the first time, they're saying you can hold all these different pieces of your identity in one place, under your control. Think about it. You can have your lawful affidavit identity that you create yourself. You can have your legal KYC identity, the stuff you need for a bank account, but stored privately. You've got a trusted human verification profile, a cryptographic signature that only you can use, and even a secure channel to your finances and assets. It's like bundling all the different versions of you into one secure package, and you hold the only key. Okay, so that all sounds pretty great in theory, but how does it actually work? Let's peek inside this private vault to see what's going on under the hood. How is it even possible to secure all that stuff in one place? So the whole system is built around this idea of a vault. And this is the critical part. It's not stored in the cloud. It's not sitting on some company's server somewhere waiting to get hacked. It's a breakthrough hardware and software combination that is physically bound to your personal device. It ties your digital identity to something you physically hold. And just look at what's inside this thing. It's kind of mind-blowing when you see it all listed out. We're not just talking about a digital ID here. It's your lawful affidavit, your KYC documents, your biometrics, all your cryptographic keys, your financial rails, even your property claims and private communications. It's literally meant to be a digital safe for your entire life. And this right here is the golden rule that makes it all possible. Invisible by default, provable by choice. What that means is everything about you is completely hidden, completely private all the time. Nothing gets shared unless you consciously, explicitly choose to prove one specific little piece of it for one specific reason. You hold the keys. You grant the access. End of story. But having this kind of individual control is really just the start. Because once you have a bunch of people with this sovereign identity, it creates the foundation for something totally new, what they call the human-only network, a digital space that just operates by a completely different set of rules. Just stop and think about what that would be like, an entire ecosystem that's human-only. No bots, no impersonators, no fake accounts. Because every single participant is cryptographically proven to be a real, living human being, you could interact with absolute certainty that you're talking to another person. It would be a digital world completely free of all the junk, the scams, the bots that we just take for granted on the internet today.
And this table really gets to the magic trick of the whole thing. It seems like a paradox, right? How can you have anonymous individuals but also have high-trust interactions? It doesn't seem possible. But here's the key. Trust isn't based on knowing someone's personal details. It's based on the mathematical certainty that they are a verified human, just like you. And because of that, you can have interactions that are both high trust and completely private with zero surveillance.
Okay, let's tie all these threads together. We've talked about the private vault, we've talked about being invisible by default, and we've talked about this human-only network. So what's the big picture? What is the promise of sovereignty when you put all of these pieces together?
These 5 pillars are a great way to sum it all up. So your identity becomes, number 1, lawful, because you're the one who declares it through an affidavit. Number 2, it's legal, because you have your private KYC documents ready to verify it if you ever need to. Number 3, it's anonymous, because nobody sees anything unless you give them permission. 4, it's trusted, because the cryptography proves you're a real human. And finally, number 5, it's protected, because it's all shielded by trust law. It's this really cool mix of old-school legal principles and brand-new technology.
And that leads to this final, powerful idea. You are not joining a system, you are becoming one. This really gets to the core of it. ENTIFY isn't being presented as another app you use or a platform you join. It's supposed to be a tool that lets you become the system, your own self-contained, sovereign digital system. So we're left with this one last question to chew on. In a world that seems to be racing towards more and more centralized digital IDs, this whole concept forces us to stop and consider a totally different path. It makes you wonder, what would it really mean? What would it look like to be the true author of your own identity?